Ocean of Love, Part 2. This silence beyond imagination is always singing, beckoning you to dance. It has no words, yet is every word, weaving horsetails into wind. Who is it that runs naked through the fields? Elegant, the rough seas, battering tall cliffs into lace, falling. Seafoam clouds and wind comb the beaches for tide pools to admire their reflection, passing by. Fingerprint of time lost its delicate tracery. Wind-blown clouds dissolve into their own echoes. Sky breathes, its empty breath sucks you in, and you never return. You are never more or less substantial than yesterday's skies. There is a feeling of beyond freedom or bondage, as it's noticed more and more that life, thought happens all by itself. A noticing that before, recognizing this is a story, there was an effort to control, perpetuating the painful yet comfortable illusion of a controller. That all of this self-arises and self-erases simultaneously. Without time or non-time, without a source. Not appearing out of anything or emptiness or anywhere. There is no anywhere or nowhere, nor anythings nor non-things. There is no need to have a thing or someone recognizing this. It is evident as itself. It simply is, without being or not being so. It is, of itself so, all of a piece without edges, echoes of echoes of echoes, reflections of reflections of reflections, no space to be filled, no emptiness to be filled, no thing to be full or empty. This flowing thought dream continues. How marvelously! Without movement or non-movement, it is no longer believed. There is no believer. Tosses and turns into the swirls of your fingertips, the waves on the sea, the wind blowing through the dead leaves still hanging from the trees. A few seem to be caught and dance with the dawn as they float, lovingly kissing the naked earth, waiting for the neighbor kids to joyfully shuffle their feet through the autumn splendor on their way to school. Yes, a story all is. The story of knowing you and all you have ever loved is a beautiful, heartbreaking fairy tale. It feels like sky pouring into sky, space pouring into space, light pouring into light, emptiness pouring into emptiness. But there is no light, nor space, nor emptiness. This dream does not arise from no-thingness. It does not arise from emptiness. It is emptiness itself, and it cannot be captured or held. This is all illusion. Illusion is illusion, magnificent and wondrous beyond measure. Wow. Words like stars, strewn across the vault of sky, beyond which there is more beyond, painted by words, that seem to form patterns and stories of lonesome lovers who try to escape their story and their brilliance. Scorning love or longing for it, we are the dreams of lovers, starlight, dancing. Ghost light sweeps across the canyon, naked trees paint empty skies, suspended as this very hush, wild, abandoned, dances. River of forever pours into never, slides along, twirling moonlight into memories of forgotten shadows melting into their own light. We seem to stand on the banks of life, wishing to fall in, but we have never been separate from the river. There is no one to be apart or to merge with the flowing. We exist as the imaginary banks and as these lines. We can never meet. As the river, we are never separate. Imaginary separation, a prism of unthinkable beauty separating an inside and an outside, obvious aliveness, dancing with its reflection, an echo's dream, where no things can be found, yet all things seem to appear, knowing not how this is known, as there is no feeler, a feeling of a knower or of a feeler, or a someone who is utter awe. It feels like a love dream ballet, without a dance floor or curtains, space without space, breathing, aching, touching its own aliveness, a kiss without lips. Wet in wet, in wet in wet, love dances with its own echo, and no edges to be found in this kiss that stops time as it erases itself, lost in the blue of a never arising horizon. And how to measure the distance between echoes when the canyon dissolves? Last cricket fades into autumn moon, feathered hands of summer grasses floating. Acres of yesterdays are buried under the shadows. Clouds blossom and tumble into the silver river. Rippling waters dissolve their empty reflection. Who hung her heart on the naked trees while she searched for her own reflection? Trails of memory led nowhere. Echoes of love filled the canyon and died. Her path collapsed under the lightness of no tomorrow. Untraceable, life pirouettes into itself. Wind slips through its own lips, suspended in morning light. Silently, the canyon's embrace exhales into desert sands. River flows into its own echo. Boundless, ocean of love pours into itself. Time lost its heartbeat as its shadow danced in the dark. Noon fell through midnight. A million shooting stars dissolved into their own light. Where are the fingers that cannot touch? Where are the lips that cannot kiss? There is no heart that can hold all this love. Without sound or silence, echoes shimmer. Moon sinks into her own light. Reflection without a face glimpses its own countenance. Tears have no source. All is a fountain of measureless treasure. Unfathomable this vast, vast spaciousness without space. Ricocheting waves of wet in wet in wet in wet. There is no surface or bottom or shore. All is in, without an inside. There is nothing but this ocean of love. What syllables are the rocks and bones, and which vowels the flesh of this song, where moonlight floats across the garden, where shadows bathe and echoes bloom in the depths of midnight, where all is lost, even the looking fades into dried roses. Last petals fallen long ago carpet the forgotten path. Memories trace trails across autumn skies, ignite the dream with moonlight falling through threads of empty silken light. Tattered prayer flags eaten by time, as she slipped into the mirror and found no front or back, or middle ground on which to stand. Simply this dancing of wind in wind, an Echoland ballet with no dancers or audience or stage, no ticket required, no hand or heart to hold the wind. Last golden leaves caught in stalks of summer's flowers. There is no artist other than these eyes that no one wears, that cannot be found. A looker seems to arise in the looking for an observer, but there is no one to step outside a rainbow or into the shadow of moon. Echoes fill the canyon and dissolve into their own silence as the walls melt into the shoreless ocean they never left. You may wall yourself off with books, but the beast you fear has claws that will tear you apart, rip out your heart, and teeth that will eat it. The thing you fear and long for has feathers that will caress you and fold you into sunlight, tears that will melt your heart, and an unquenchable fire that will boil your blood into a froth of unspeakable magnificence, a madness that has been hidden so deeply you cannot imagine its ferocity. Your wildness dances just beyond your grasp. But you know how hard it is to hold this love for all and everything. This sorrow that sings your name, this joy that floats through waves of despair. There is war and peace everywhere. Nowhere is nowhere to live. Love ignites itself. Surely it is always alive, burning through shine and shadow. No one wears this naked love. There is no skin thick enough that will not be pierced. If not now, perhaps on your deathbed, it will consume you. You cannot look for it or invite it in, as there is no separation between you and love. I am the perfume of a flower that never bloomed. Next chapter, Shape of Wind. Pale flower of moon, petals falling, sweeps over the garden, the scent of yesterday's rain, gathered in the fingers of naked trees. Memories are dreams that no one dreams, that dream us, plant us in a garden of love, where suns and moons slide across the sky, where we bathe in starlight and long for love. Our tears water our roots and cleanse our leaves. We are the flower of love itself. Such beauty cannot see itself. We exist only as this tender dance. I bloom only in your eyes. Petals exploding and wilting, leaves falling, falling. Naked, we love and die. No longer looking for happiness, no longer afraid of sadness. There is no one separate to feel this or that. All emotion merges into a sublime love. Wandering through the desert of broken shadows, moonlight poured through my footsteps. This shimmering mirage has no entrance or exit. Ballet of light in light, pirouette without beginning or end. Suspended as this edgeless sea of dreams, no desert, no light, no echo, no mirage, no one wanders, sky swallowed in love. How could you ever leave the garden of love? Every step is flowers blooming. Softly, softly, layers and layers of transparent luminescence slip through echoes of yesterday's moon. Memory soars on arpeggioed wings, paints the sky. Colors sparkle and bloom in the mind stream, where you float between the banks of this and that. You can hear the reflection of the shoreless ocean with every breath. It is inside, it is outside, it is sideless. There is no middle, no direction. The banks slip into the wetness as you dissolve into the ocean of love. It pours through its own soundless echo, flows through its own fathomless depths, reverberates endlessly into its own reflection, sees its beauty, and weeps through the prism of mind. Thought is not true or false. True and false are thought. Slowly, slowly, outdoor light erases the mirror of window. Images inside and outside merge. Through the lens of imaginary separation, there appears to be a dance between you and me, where hands touch, where hearts blossom and soar into a pirouette of unfathomable wonder. Where love appears is a fairy tale world of flowing color. The punctuation of words paints yellows and reds and deep, deep blues, slices the dream into sides so that we may hold hands, look deeply into each other's eyes, recognize the impossible mystery of beauty and fall in love. Wind, its own breath, slides rippling shadows across the sidewalk and into a deep river of light, pouring into light. Autumn does not hold its breath, waiting for spring. Leaves fall, gather in the garden, moon-swept echoes sing. Love is not hiding under the bushes, among broken shadows, and stalks of summer flowers, heavy with afternoon rain. It is the falling of ancient moonlight and the winter's breath approaching. Love is your very breath, these very words, this kiss of knowing life's preciousness. And what of the golden finches asleep in the plum tree, as naked moon sails? Do the seasons orbit around the sun? Is there someone walking away from autumn? Where does winter hide in the spring? Frozen garden lies in darkness, no tires on the highway, spoonfuls of hot tea, my reflection in the window, memories of moon hover, sliding through the seasons. What is light but ancient shadows, leaning into the wind, bursting into flames? What is love but memories of light, leaning into this fiery kiss, burning all shadows in this echo land dream? There is no place to hide from this explosion of love. It is everywhere and nowhere. It lies in your sickbed and flows through your dreams as you wander, looking for love. My heart is a river of echoes. Memories reverberate without a source or place to land. The banks collapsed into the fathomless depths. Sky slipped into wetness. Currents warm and cool pour through eddies and whirlpools in this ocean of love. I am all the voices of all the songs, the singers and the silent, a billion stars exploding, suns melting into their own light, galaxies unfolding and collapsing, waves of tears folding into pools of starlight. Wild and naked, life sings our names, a call and answer, love song. We are echoes of reflected light. Morning sleeps, silent now. Dove at the feeder. Wet, slides down the window. Tears are prisms. Colors blossom, petals fall. Love blossoms, love falls. Pools of memory slide down the window. The heart is not a vessel. Love slides into and through love. You cannot hide in hymns and rosaries. Cathedrals topple. Secret pockets are emptied. There are no clothes to hide the nakedness that no one wears. Summer flowers bloom and wilt, colors now buried in snow. A dream of time and love's embrace painted by these very words. Snow flowers linger, heavy in the morning sun. Nothing in my pockets, nothing in my shoes. Footsteps melt. Winter melts. I melted into this love dream. Memory paints the day when time died, but the hush was never entered or left. First dove at the feeder brushes away the snow. The ground is covered with nighttime footprints. There's a small gray cat who wanders in the garden. We watch him climb the old wooden ladder and marvel at his trembling tenderness and the soft, warm feathers he longs for. Piercing cry of the first crow, song of your aloneness echoes in the canyon. What is the shape of wind as it dries your tears? What is the shape of water when the banks collapse and your heart bleeds? Echoes of love into the ocean of memory, where time stops and love is the essence of life drinking itself through your lips. Water cannot understand water. Love is most wondrous as it requires no understanding. Infinitely petaled softness, blooming, wilting, brushing light and color and sound into this flowing dreamscape, Thought spins a lullaby, a web of words, a bower of clouds, where you sleep, and death lies like a coiled snake waiting. Time is made of letters, consonants, and vowels. There seems to be a past, but it is memory. Is there any future outside of thought? You are a beautiful thought dream, spinning, twirling, dancing in the heart of the dream, clutching your umbrella when you are already underwater, tightrope walking along a timeline. The ends are blurry. There is a fear of the unknown and excitement for a tomorrow that will never come. Where is the heart of longing? Where is the hush of summer? When the trees are naked, what is in your pocket when you die? It is the seeking that defines you. What happens when the seeking stops? What would you be without the longing for other, better, more, or next? What would you be without the belief in something more? What if this is indeed it? Life happening all by itself. No thinker, no feeler, no actor, no conductor, no source, nor God making it happen. It may be terrifying to consider that life as you have known it may come to an end. What would you be without hope and fear? Death opens a hole in your heart, lined with liquid mirrors, never filled or emptied. The tears never really stop. They are the underground river that never leaves the surface. Haven't you noticed that your beautiful, delicate eyes are always anointed with love's wetness? All separation is made up, as well as the whole. Bits and pieces, flotsam and jetsam, waves, oceans, water, tears. I wonder about this stillness that everyone keeps talking about. It seems that people are looking for a special state, or a special place where thought is slowed or becomes non-existent. Some people talk about there being a still place in the middle of the conceptual storm or the dream. Of course, that would be a dream center as well. But the question arises, is there someone separate from thought who would be disturbed by it or who could accept it? All thought simply happens by itself. There is no really true thought or untrue thought, because true and false are thought created. All imaginary separation is created by the thought stream made of learned shared words. You could say that it is a flowing thought stream, but actually the ideas of movement and non-movement are also made up. So if and when thought ceases, there really are no things. There is no imaginary thinker as well. It is only when thought returns that the first thought often is, "Oh, I wasn't thinking." And right away an imaginary thinker is created. This entire story of thought ceasing, then, is a thought-created story. I would say that the stillness that seekers long for is the end of belief in the dream. However, this is also feared, because when the dream of this and that is seen to be made up, then it means also that they are made up. It would mean that everyone they have ever loved or known in their entire lives are also made up. It would mean that there has never been a past and there will never be a future where somehow stillness could be attained or lost. It would mean the end of all seeking, as the seeker has disappeared. The end of all ideas of other, better, more, or next. It's like the Zen guys sitting there in the cartoon and one guy says to another, "So this is it, huh?" And the other guy says, "Yep. For this is indeed it, isn't it?" It always is. It is unnameable, and it's not really an it or a non-it. No one can capture it or understand it, as there's no one separate to do so. All trying to attain stillness or something other than this seems to push it away, like trying to capture a ripple in a bowl of water. Your hand just makes more ripples. Yet, it is a good cat and mouse game that keeps people going and keeps the seeker safe. The dream of hope and fear continues, as that is what they are. The seeking, what would they be without it? Wet in wet, in wet, in wet, life is unknowable. There is no man or God behind the curtain. No one utters these words. We exist as imaginary characters in a 3D magic light show. Suns and moons soar across the heavens. Tears fall into the river of love, pouring into love. Next chapter, Love into Love. Suspended in blue, December trees display their long, wild dance into sky. Snapshot of wind rips into infinite pieces, trying to hold life, fills your heart with concrete, with an imprint of wind. The sun cannot find its shadows. Love looks for love and weeps. Life pours into itself unceasingly, without stillness or movement. It is the wind or me who dances down the leaf-strewn street, bathed in golden shadows. Thought has seemingly created a world and simultaneously broken this world into bits. It tries to fit what was never a part into another imaginary bit called wholeness. It creates an imaginary center to the swirling with an imaginary hand that tries to grasp what has no substance. The flowing dreamscape that has no movement or non-movement tries to catch the flowing. Gently, gently rain. Slowly, slowly rain. Softly, softly rain. Single leaf held in the river's current. Swirling cup of gold. Hearts aching. Colors bleeding. Wetness flows into wetness. Love into love. Love pours into love through our eyes. We recognize our shimmering beauty in everyone we meet. We are ultimately alone, together. A marvelous ballet of shine and shadow falls through its reflection into whirlpools of echoes, streaming through this river of words. Love requires imaginary banks to flow. We need our imaginary lines to touch. We cannot escape them. We are them. Morning flows through the sound of rain. Thought paints the window where color blooms into the reflection of a face, hovering among the doves and golden finches. Eternity is a moment that passes through itself and dies on the wet pavement, a trail of soft white dove feathers and blobs of hawk shit. This life of love and love lost spirals into itself. We are love letters written on the window, rain pouring down. Slowly, 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 without movement or standing still, love opens its wings and swallows you. She is rough and tender. Her teeth are beautiful, slender knives, eviscerating all ideas of life, of love. She sings without words or melody. When you look in the mirror, you can see her empty eyes. When I look at you, I recognize her beauty. Our eyes are filled with each other's tears, and we waltz her shining shadow, light into light, dark into dark. Elegant fingers of moon reach through December trees, cool in the silent garden. Song of night reflects your beauty, hidden only to you. Moon is the ache of sound, cradled in winter skies. Songs are the ache of moon blossoming in our hearts. Sliding through wind-swept branches, shadows reach for light. River is the song of moon echoing in the canyon of love's great divide. Tall, cold walls of rock and sound cannot split the sky. Hands need a space to touch, lips need a space to kiss, songs need canyons to echo. This naked intimacy requires a me and a you to dance and fall through the moon. Bathing the silent garden, love collapses time. This cannot be kissed, yet the kissing is it. Bits of tinsel soar in sky, reflecting memories of nighttime dreams, sailing through the daytime dream, never caught, or reflecting anything clearly. I am a Mobius strip of wind in wind.